Fear 3 is a survival horror first-person shooter and the third main entry in the Fear series. It was released in 2011 for PC, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. It is the only Fear entry so far to include co-op/multiplayer. The story continues 9 months after the end of Fear 2, with Alma about to give birth. You play as Point Man, the protagonist from the first Fear, and he is being held captive in a prison being interrogated by Armacam. Fettel, his half-brother and the antagonist from the first game as well, is resurrected and helps Point Man escape. They then go on a journey to find Alma and retrieve their sibling or something. The world is corrupted and spooky stuff is happening with monsters and visions of young Alma. The story is really weird and didn't make much sense to me. The game can be played in single player or in co-op. If you play single player, you automatically start as Point Man and can play as Fettel after beating each stage. Co-op has player 1 be Point Man and player 2 be Fettel, and you work together. I will say up front that single player is not very fun. It's easy to get overwhelmed and surrounded by enemies, and I feel like I've said this before about other Fear games. I got to stage 4 on single player before going fuck this and had my husband play co-op with me. We were able to beat it 2 times, each playing as the other character without too much trouble. Point Man has the same abilities as before, his shooting and a reflex time skill. Fettel is more unique. He is a ghost, kind of, and can possess enemies to take over their bodies. He can only stay in a body for a limited amount of time, but this can be extended by killing more enemies. Dying in an enemy's body doesn't knock you down for the count either. You can fight as a ghost or as an enemy, and it's interesting to see how differently they all play. Out of the two, I think I liked playing as Fettel more. The game feels like a huge mix of different titles. None of the areas seem to follow a certain theme, and they're just kinda thrown in there. The first stage is a huge prison, the next is a town that reminded me of Kijiji from Resident Evil 5, the third is a huge store akin to Best Buy or Costco, and so on. This is due to the game taking place in the Almaverse, a world that is manipulated by her memories and emotions or something. There's a bad monster that is based on her mistreatment as a child, and it shows up every so often, but doesn't really do anything. Again, I'm not too sure what was going on in this game's story. Some of the areas are pretty creepy and disturbing, but it's not straight up scary. The ones I liked the most were the big warehouse and then the neighborhood with the culty interiors. It's more of an action shooter than a survival horror. Even on easy difficulty, it was easy to get killed. There were a lot of glitches as well. They weren't game-breaking, but more amusing than anything, like Alma showing up for a spooky cameo and then staying stuck there or an enemy dying in a weird position. The story is a lot shorter than previous entries, with only 6 intervals to play through. It can be beaten fairly quickly, but there is a lot of replay value. You earn points for actions you perform in-game, like killing a certain number of enemies by dropkicking them. You can also find dead bodies and get a psychic link from them and get points. Points let you rank up, and ranking up makes you stronger/faster. There are 21 ranks in total, and Point Man and Fettel both have their own unique challenges to earn points for. Outside of the campaign, there are multiplayer matches that can also be played single player. These are similar to what you'd find in Battle Royale games or Call of Duty. Contractions is similar to the zombies in Call of Duty. You need to survive rounds of waves of enemies attacking you and fixing your barricades while collecting supply chests. Soul King focuses on possessing enemies and killing them to earn souls. Whoever has the most souls wins. Fucking Run gives you a short amount of time to run through a map and reach the goal without dying. Soul Survivor is similar to Contractions, but one of the players is corrupted by Alma and has to possess as many souls as possible. None of these matches are original or unique, but they are fun to play through. The game in general is pretty generic. It doesn't really feel like it's connected to the previous Fear games, more like it's influenced by them. The character names are really the only thing tying them together. I remember playing this when it first came out and being disappointed by how underwhelming it was. Going back and replaying it now, it's still underwhelming, but it is a fun co-op game. I like games where you have to work together to beat it, and this is fun with friends. It's not groundbreaking or amazing, but if you get it for cheap and play with a friend, it's worth it. It definitely feels short and unfinished, but yeah. Don't expect much from it, just take it how it is. Thank you for watching the video. Leave a like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more content, leave a comment if you want to see a new Fear game. I do.
hopefully better than Fear 3. Thank you to my patrons on Patreon. It makes me happy that people want to support me. I have a demo for my RPG game Shards of the Heart and Redbubble with stuff for you to buy. Thank you for watching.